So it's super easy. You got cornered though. Did he fair warn you that I was going to hit you up for a podcast?
He did.
Yeah.
But he kind of set me up.
How'd you set him up?
I just called him and said, it's not really up for debate. You're going to do a podcast with us.
That's not really a setup. That's hostage.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of how you got roped into sitting on the board too, isn't it? Last time I was telling him earlier, when I came here last time, I think you were nominated and elected to the board.
Yeah.
And tonight is the end of it as an officer, right?
As an officer, yes.
So what was your role for the last, God, how many years has it been? It's got to have been 4 years or longer.
As an officer, yeah, I would say 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, this is my 9th year, so it would be 7 years.
Crazy. Did it go fast?
It actually did, now that you say that.
Right? Time kind of flies.
Yeah.
So I should announce you guys before we go. We got Cody Rollins.
Hello.
That's it. And you've served as what position for IHA?
President and vice president.
And Colton?
This is completing my first term as president.
As president. So you guys are like best buds?
We talk on the phone a lot.
Yeah. That's how stuff happens.
Oh, man. That's how all of it happens.
I know.
Yeah.
No, you guys do a lot of work. The Idaho Houndsman Association has always been super involved and, really active. And it's because you guys have a really active membership, it seems like, over the years.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of involvement, and it takes a lot certain times of the year. There's some down times, but definitely around these events and around the trials.
Right.
There's a lot to it that goes on behind the scenes to make it all go.
And how did you guys pre-sell tickets to this tonight?
We do pre-sell, and then we also allow people to buy at the door.
So how many you think are going to be here tonight?
We average anywhere from that 160 to 230. It just depends.
That's a big crowd, really.
After COVID, it definitely changed a little bit. So we're just still, hopefully this will be the first year to kind of see where we're at after that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, but you sold a bunch of pre-sale and then it's open to, do you get a lot of general public that comes to this one, or is it mainly houndsmen that show up?
You get a bulk, the vast majority are houndsmen, but you do get friends of houndsmen. Like I have some family members that don't have dogs that just want to come and have a good time and support the club.
Right.
So there's some of that.
You are not short on houndsmen around this country, are you?
No, sir.
Good Lord. There's a lot. You got a lot of transplants.
Yep.
Because everybody knows Idaho's still America.
Yep, still free America.
It kind of ends up over here, it seems like.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's pretty wild how much things have changed in the last 10 years even. Idaho's like the last stronghold.
Yeah, and that's why this stuff's so important. I mean, really, it's...
For sure.
We've got to stay the bedrock of the hounds in the West, and we got to really be proactive and keep it that way.
Yeah. But you guys do a bunch of events too. Like you do a spring trial and do you do a fall? Is it a swim race or a fall trial?
Yep. Our water trial is in August. So we do a spring trial and then our water trial is in August.
And that's a pretty big deal too. I've never made it to the swim race.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a it's a smaller area. And so really you can see the races from anywhere.
Right.
And it's a good spot. It works out good. And we get a rattle through the races really quick. And it goes smooth. You can go a lot of dogs in a short period of time, which makes it really nice.
How many dogs do you guys usually get at like your field events?
Always 100, sometimes more, but
that's big.
Pretty much consistently 100 dogs. Yeah.
We were just talking about the iron dog this morning. Yeah. I cannot tell you, like the first time I rolled up to an IHA trial and they did that iron dog competition, I thought this is the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, really?
Because, well, yeah, that pole has got to be what? Like 2 inch, 3 inch diameter,
2
maybe
2 inch,
and it's wobbly. And you got guy ropes going like all different directions. And then here comes just this massive pack of dogs. Like everybody's bringing dogs. And I'm used to treeing contests where, you kick a dog in, it's got to stay in the circle and they count barks, whatever. No, like you guys turn them all loose at once. Yep. Dogs stepping on that guy rope, get that pole like swinging. And here's a cage in the top with a stuffed raccoon in it. And those guys are, the dogs are going ballistic. And I thought, oh my God, there's going to be a brawl. Yeah. Like I was just expecting this giant tree fight for some reason. And I could not believe it. But that is a lot of dogs that are focused. And what? The last dog in the circle wins, right? Yep. And it's Pretty big
So it's
prize.
a
Last two.
Yeah, last two.
Oh, last
First
two.
and second. So we start
Because when
with-
you're down to two at that point, they're going to sit there all day, huh?
Oh, they have.
Yeah, I would
Yep,
believe
they
that.
have. Yes, they have. Until
That's
they run,
crazy.
until they just need water. That's what stops them usually. It's usually hot, and they get,
Right.
and then finally they break down and one of them goes for water. That's usually.
And then
usually
the
what
other
finally
one's
hits
right
it.
with them, I'm
Yeah, oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that was crazy. Because how many dogs do you usually get cut loose in that?
Oh, 50 is pretty consistent.
That's
yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
And everyone that comes for the first time is always like, "This is a terrible idea." Like this is.
I'm not going to lie to you. I've
Yeah.
heard that 100 times.
Absolutely.
People are like, what are they doing? They're going to get a dog fight going. And da, 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 da. But no, it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And that little pole, you just see it there wiggling. I'm like, oh my God, that thing's going to fall. But do you guys still do them like in the same place every year up there in that valley?
Yeah.
Yep.
For our spring trial. Yep.
So what town is that outside of? For people like who might want to come and
North
check
of
it out.
Emmett.
Emmett, right?
Yep. Which Emmett is 30 minutes north of Boise.
Emmett's huge metropolis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the population of Emmett?
It's grown some.
It's actually grown quite a bit.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
It can't be that much. It's little.
I want to say
Yeah.
it's like 10 now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I
It
think
Well,
has
then
to
it's
be.
doubled in the last
Yeah.
10 years,
Well,
probably.
yeah. Well, Boise, Boise's
Boise's about
exploded.
to Emmett,
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
the way it's growing. Well, I should say Eagle. But
Right.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful up in there. You get in those breaks, and I mean, it does get warm up there. Bring
Yeah.
lots of water.
Yeah.
But you guys run a field trial. Do you still do the 3-dog pack races?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's on Sunday usually.
Is that a huge hit for you guys?
Last year we had 12 or 15 packs sooner. And
I would
if we
believe
could
that.
get it in Saturday, we would get more participation. But a lot of people have to head home, so they don't stick around for the 3-dog pack race. But it's
Oh, yeah. You
it's
guys draw from a long ways off, though. You
We
were
do.
getting guys
Yeah.
from Utah and Idaho,
Nevada. Yep.
Washington, Oregon, Nevada. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
It's I would say it's a great trial to get started in the spring. It's good. It's good to get those dogs exposed again and get them around other dogs and get warmed up. And it's like everyone's itching to go, right?
Right.
Cat season's over. We're all just kind of bored. And
Sick of
it's-
snow.
Yeah. It's a nice
Very.
time to get out. Yeah.
Can you guys even get to the woods right now?
Snowmobile.
Yeah.
Dude, the snow in the last week has got to be crazy, huh? We've been getting it at home too, but I was a little worried about even getting here today.
Yeah. No, our whole cat season, like right out of the gate, we was on a snowmobile. There wasn't no pickup hunting unless they was keeping the road plowed for logging or whatever. But
Right.
Instantly, yeah, right off the get go snowmobiling.
Yeah.
So when you get that heavy of snow here, do the cats kind of stay where they usually stay, or do they get pushed down
They
with the heavy snow?
well, they follow wherever for lions, they follow wherever that your deer and elk are going to be.
Right.
But the bobcats, they'll still stay up higher.
They kind of stay.
Mhm.
What do you, I mean, you guys, I know you're a bear hunter, right, Colton?
Yes, sir.
Like that is
Yeah.
end all be all greatest thing ever.
That's me. Yeah.
And Cody, you like a little of both, don't you?
Yeah, bobcat's probably my favorite to hunt, but the bear hunting around here is really good. So it's like I'll bet a guaranteed you're gonna go at least find something to run where.
That's funny. That's what we said about cat hunt. It's like, well, it's season, so we got to go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'd rather be running something different.
Yeah,
Is it still, it's pretty crazy. Like, I don't want to tell everybody how great hunting is in Idaho and have them all move here, but
you're
You-
gonna edit that part right there.
yeah,
You
we'll
just
edit
said
that
it right.
part out. You guys have done so much and you do a lot with Fish and Wildlife, with the Idaho Game Commission. I mean,
Yep.
you guys have invested a lot over the years and it's paying off, it seems like.
We're actually getting ready to start that up next week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
The 15th and 16th in Boise is our commissioner
Yeah.
meeting. And so there's some changes coming. There's 2 weeks in September that we lost in a few units that we're trying to get back for dogs. But
Yeah. Can you explain that? We were talking about that earlier too. So they ended up taking part of your season away in the fall.
Yep. So in Idaho, we have a general bear hunt, which most of the state is a general bear hunt, spring and fall, and it's all pretty much modeled under the same system, except for a few units that are grizzly units, and they have a little bit different management because of the grizzlies. But we have what's called the Weezer River units, which have been managed since 1993 as a controlled hunt lottery draw system, and that has allowed a bear population. First of all, it's great bear habitat. already. Just the country.
Beautiful country. I mean, from an outsider, I love going through that whole area.
But it has allowed for a pretty fantastic bear population and for some real trophy class black bears. But it's always been a lottery hunt, so you had to draw that tag. Well, 2 years ago, for some years they've been making minor changes, but 2 years ago they finally made a major change and allowed hunting over the counter on private property or within 1 mile.
That was it. That's what I was thinking of.
That boundary change allowed the vast majority of those units to be opened over the counter harvest.
Because it's checkerboarded, right? I mean, it's all checkerboarded private, like everywhere else in the West, it seems like.
And there'll be like some 5-acre mining claim private properties in the middle of the forest that then allow that 1 mile circle. Well, with that, we saw a huge increase in harvest in those units. And the harvest wasn't from hounds. The hound harvest has pretty much stayed consistent always in those units. And it's about...
These are more successful anyway.
Well, actually, it's only about 25 to 30% of the harvests are usually with hounds.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of bears that get let go, and that's the reality of it. But the huge increase in harvest was spot and stock deer and elk hunters that now could have a black bear tag in their pocket and harvest a black bear while deer and elk hunting, especially in that late end of October. The bears are out looking for food, and they saw a huge harvest of bears.
I would imagine.
You had an influx of new bear hunters that have never bear hunted before and never field judged a bear before. So there was some big bears that got killed, but the vast majority of those bears were young juveniles and or sows. So it caused some heartache. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get that boundary moved. And what the Fish and Game proposed is that off Forest Service boundary. So all those little parcels that are surrounded by Forest Service will be excluded from that now. You'll still have to draw the lottery tag to hunt there.
See, that makes some sense.
And it's a balance, right? We're trying to give opportunity for hunters. Like we want to be able to go run our dogs, but we have such a special little area that's been managed for trophies for so long. We don't want to see it ruined for no reason.
And it's known for trophy bears. Like that is a big bear area. What's an average bear you would say? An average shooter. I mean, obviously a lot of guys are letting smaller stuff go, but I mean, what's a big bear around here?
Oh, I think 300 is very realistic and consistent.
Yeah. 250 plus is a pretty solid,
pretty good shooter.
Yeah.
And they go big. I mean, but you guys get 400 or 500 pounders.
Yeah, there are some monsters.
That's insane.
There are some monsters
400. 400s.
Are they long bear, like lanky mountain bears, or are they?
Yeah, they're just like people. I mean, you got your stocky, shorter bears, and then you got your long, lanky.
I just think it's funny when you go from like different region to different region.
Yeah.
Like where we're at, we're pretty mountainous. Our bear's super long-legged, because they got to get around. There's usually not any fat on them.
And black, right?
And we got a lot of color phase. I killed my first black one a couple years ago, and I was just so excited. All of them were cinnamons or some off-phase color, and I always wanted a black one.
Yeah.
Do you guys get much color phase here?
Yep. Quite a bit of color.
That's I think it's cool.
On a mature bear, though, I mean, we've seen a lot of high 6s and 7 foot on the length. Like I feel like they're pretty long. Really, in the spectrum of black bears. So especially for the food sources that they have, it gets so hot in the summertime that they definitely have to get out and look for feed.
Yeah.
So they do pretty well, but that's because of the management. I mean, because you can go to any of these other units and see a lot more volume of smaller bears.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you said you guys are starting back up in a couple weeks then?
So next week is our commissioner meeting in Boise, and that's when we get to go in front of the Board of Commissioners for the Fish and Game, Idaho Fish and Game, and then we get to... It's basically your public comment time. It's where you get to talk directly to them, which because of COVID, this is the first time in a few years that we've actually been able to do it face to face. So I think
that's cool. And it'll be you guys personally? That's how it works. You're still stuck roped into that, huh?
Yeah. We all have kids, right? And we want our kids to enjoy the same hunting that we've had. So
that's why we're doing it.
That's exactly why we're doing it.
Isn't that the truth too? Yep. Because anybody that wants to say, well, you're just doing it for yourself, then we'd be hunting instead of sitting in a meeting.
That's exactly right.
I mean, really, we would be out there doing it instead.
That's exactly right. Yep.
It's a long, long road, that's for sure. But the fact that you guys have a good relationship with Idaho, State Department and all of that goes a long ways.
Yeah. The other thing that's really helped too in the past is obviously we team up with like Eastern Idaho Houndsman Association, Idaho Trappers Association, Foundation for Wildlife, so we all kind of united and just started working together because I mean, let's face it, all of us are on the bottom end of the totem pole. So
Sure.
we banded together, and then that's when the commissioners kind of started noticing, like, hey, these guys
That's
are
good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 4 minority groups together has more say. Because we're
Yeah.
trappers. The volume of hound hunter permits in Idaho is small. The volume of trappers in Idaho is small. What I
Right.
mean? Eastern Idaho is small, but if we all stick together and work together like we have, it's made a huge change.
Oh
Definitely for the
yeah,
positive.
and that's the only way you can get traction, because I guess the hardest part for me to get, and I'm guilty of it too. I've been in clubs for years and sat on boards and whatever, but it seems like the minority groups, it is harder for us to put our differences aside and actually just do it than it
yeah.
is to complain. Like the trappers and the cattlemen and the houndsmen. All of us are in the same boat.
100%.
Our lifestyles, I don't want to say it's dying, because I think we're actually doing really well and we're making some big wins, and people are seeing the side of houndsmen and sportsmen that we want them to finally see. Like, it's about longevity. It's about generational continuance. It's about all of that. So it's been, I don't know. It's crazy when you've been in the game long enough and you've been doing it long enough and you start seeing all of that and the relationships that get built. You just hear the same names coming up over and over and over. And it's like, you guys seem to really see it through. And a lot of board members, I mean, you guys aren't the only ones.
No.
Very active membership, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How many members I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know how many members you guys have?
Tonight's a big membership enroll night, so I mean, it'll be a good judge after tonight, but
Right.
it stays in a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
would
awesome.
say, yeah, 2.25 is
Yeah.
pretty solid.
And a lot of those are family memberships, you know what I
Sure.
mean? So actual active members, it'd be hard to put an exact number on. But we have a huge kids. We have a big youth sector in our club, which is what I'm most excited about and what we should
Right.
all be working on, right? Because I mean, we're all going to end up
Yeah.
down the road getting hauled around.
We're going to be sitting in the truck. They're going to be getting dogs.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
don't you guys do a Youth Houndsman of the Year award?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought. So I guess let's hammer out like the event first real quick. I don't want to spend a ton of time on that. I'd like to talk to you guys afterwards and get a recap. But you guys do a lot of youth stuff. Let's hear about some of the youth programs you guys are doing.
So first off, on our dinner, 16 to 12 is half price. Under 12 is free. So we want kids to come. And,
Sure.
and all that we do is we try to encourage enrollment in our field trials. Kid costs are half. You know what I mean? We just try to encourage kids to be able to come and participate and
Yeah.
money not be a problem. You know what I mean? And so we try to do, like tonight, we'll have a game just for kids, and it's cornhole. They get a $1, they get 2 throws. If they get a cornhole, then they get a ticket. And then they get to put in for an AR Smith & Wesson AR-22. You know what I
That's
mean?
awesome.
Like they're kid only. We do a lot of that stuff. And I mean, Cody's done it. I've done it. We've all done it over the years. We've tried to cater to children, and I think it's paid off.
Well, you guys get a lot of kids that
We do.
come.
Yeah.
I've noticed it's a lot of families that
Yeah.
come to this one over and over and over.
Yep.
And then like the youth event, the Youth Houndsman of the Year. How do you guys calculate that out? Because it's a big deal. Didn't you guys give a belt buckle or something?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's on a point system, just like the adults, It's definitely not given. I mean, they still have to go, work with their dogs and go earn it. But yeah, it's on a point system.
Right on.
And to win, you really have to show up to both trials.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get a
Because you
buckle,
get points for placement in each one.
you really have to be at both of them.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Like this year, I think there is either a 3 or 4 way tie.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, because we do a girl youth houndsman and then a boy youth houndsman, and so whatever whether you're a boy or a girl, if there's ties, which happens, so
Right.
which we're happy to give all them buckles away. We want to see them kids.
That's cool.
Yep.
That is awesome. And then you guys do your own Houndsman of the Year. You guys
Mhm.
have some awards that you do
Yep.
here, but really it's about
And the
raising
dog, we have a
funds.
dog of the year.
Mhm.
The dog that gets the most points throughout the year. So they're awarded as well. So it's not just the handler; it's an actual dog itself.
Right.
And like this year, the dog that won dog of the year, not to spoil anything, is a real life dog that use an outfit. I mean, he's an outfitter
Yeah,
dog.
he's actually
Right.
a
Yeah.
hunting dog,
He's a
not
real deal
not
hunting
just a
dog.
trial dog.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Because you hear that a lot. Oh, those are just field trial dogs.
Yeah.
Like, I'll
But-
agree with you. There's some really good field trial
Yeah.
dogs out there. I've seen them. I know guys that have really nice trial dogs.
but with that actually being said, I mean, just like us hunting bears or cats, I mean, you actually have to work on the trial dogs. It's not like you just grab a bear dog and go throw it in a trial, and they
Right.
normally don't do as well.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I thought it
There's
was
something
really
to be-
cool. One year I had a dog that I thought was super fast, and he took off and just ran to camp. And
That's
had
how the good ones
absolutely
usually
zero desire to run the scent. And I thought, oh man, I got to do something.
do. Man, I had this same thing because mine, I mean, like I was telling you, there's hunting and then there's what I do a lot of times. I hunt a lot of the same areas. I hunt the same game. It's working dogs more than it is hunting in my eyes. And I'm
Yeah.
good with that because it's what I can do during the week and whatnot. But man, you take those dogs to a field trial.
Yeah,
I think it's a factor of multiple things.
Right.
A, it's daylight. They don't know what daylight hunting is. You know, they don't ever do it. They don't know what that smell is. And they don't know what all these other dogs are doing
Yeah.
here. So it's like usually they'll go 50 yards and turn around and come
Yeah.
back.
I think that is one of the bigger struggle for the dogs is, you know, because with us being out there hunting, we don't want to be running a covered track.
Right.
And you taking, you know, because we're running the same drags, you know, multiple
Over and over and
times.
over.
So there could be 75 dogs that have already ran down that same trail. And then
Yep.
So,
I think
yeah.
there's a lot of that
you
goes
gotta
into
work,
it.
Yeah, you have to work at it. It's,
I've noticed especially dogs that are like single game species dogs don't seem to do as well
yeah.
at the field trials as like, you know, the old dogs that probably everybody used to have. You ran everything with them
Mhm.
because it's what you had in the kennel,
Yep.
and they'd run any scent ever. It seemed like they were gamey, not trashy, gamey.
Yes. I like them dogs.
Yeah, right. Just turn them loose. You're gonna run something. You're gonna hear some dogs and do that.
But our big bear race in the spring, Cody always makes the dragon. I mean, I don't think it's a joke at all. It's 3 miles.
That's a long one. I remember it
Yeah.
being a real long one.
And he does
Yeah.
not make it easy on him. I mean,
Oh,
he
no.
drags
Do you run it
through
on a
the rocks.
quad?
No.
You walk
Yes. Yeah. Quads.
it. Yeah, right. No, that's what I thought.
The two
Is you always
squads.
ran it by foot.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, so we have wild horses up there and whatever deer herds I see, that's
That
wherever
can get
they're at, I'm
interesting.
going for them because it's,
It's fun.
yeah. And there has been nights that people stayed out all
man.
night looking for dogs.
Oh, man. Yes,
but
there has
That'll
been.
happen.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. There's more than once we've been at field trials and ended up looking at dogs all night. They
Yep.
ended up track goes left, dogs went right. We don't know what happened, but there's a whole bunch of them going right, so there's a reason.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you win that race, you should be pretty proud of your dog. Like,
Oh, yeah.
They absolutely killed it because it's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
it's all uphill. I mean, it's through the rocks. Cody makes
And-
it as hard on them as possible. And I mean, if they run it fast and do a good job, you should be super proud of them.
Right.
And a lot of time that trail that I do is 3 to 4 hours old
Yep.
with the wind blowing on it the whole time because
Wow.
they're still running other races while I'm doing that, and I just want to make sure that I'm done by the time they're done,
So
so
they
they
can
can
go.
roll right over to it. And yeah, a lot of times it's 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
So are you running it backwards then?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, you're running it
Mhm.
And he
Dang.
does
But
not
I-
use a lot of scent either. I mean,
Well, I pack a spray bottle,
Yeah.
so
and just hit it.
yep. So I do keep it freshened up.
But still, that time of year, I
Yeah.
mean, you guys there's no snow, but
No.
it gets windy up in there.
Yeah.
The scenting conditions have got to be
Yeah.
tough
They
still.
are.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
And what do you have the dates for that event already?
Yeah. So April 1st and 2nd is when the spring trial will be this year.
And that's outside of Emmett.
That's
Mhm.
north of
So
Emmett.
anybody
Yeah.
listening, I mean, that's a good one to go to. It's.
Yep.
I will say this. I mean, I came before I was even, like, before anybody knew who I was. You know, before I even really had the business started with Plumtree.
Yeah.
And before all this, everybody was so hospitable. It was like a super family oriented event. It was really cool. So I would really encourage anyone within driving distance,
Yep.
check it out. So the first weekend in April,
Yeah, and there's camping available. It's dry camping, but there is room to camp.
lots of room. It seems like
There's lots of room to camp.
Yeah, it's
There's
beautiful.
a creek right there, so you can get water. There's just no RV hookups because it is BLM and private property.
Yeah. But the roads getting in there are pretty decent. Like guys
Yeah,
with travel
yeah.
trailers shouldn't have a problem, right?
No problem. Yeah.
I think that's something that we all have underestimated.
Yeah.
And now I think about it more when I'm telling people, oh, yeah, you should go check this out. Well, some of these little trials, you're not getting your fifth wheel into.
Right.
You know, But this one, I remember it being pretty easy to get into.
Yeah, there's lots of space.
And then the swim race, you got a date for that one too?
Swim race is, I can look it up. It's in August. It's the second Saturday in August.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's at a Payette, which is also about 40 minutes from Boise.
Yeah, it's still like
to the
right
west.
here
Yeah,
close.
it's not, and it's a private place. It also has camping. There's a few ponds there. It's a nice spot too. All we have to do basically is mow the grass and clean the pond up, and it's ready to go.
And it's ready to roll.
Yep.
That
Kill
one-
a few wasps.
That one's way easier.
Yeah,
Less work for you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
a lot less work. Yeah.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yep.
So as far as people coming in, do you guys have food vendors or anything at these, or just
Yeah, so usually we have some kind of food. Last year we had a member's dad who's a phenomenal cook. We somehow tricked him or coerced him into doing it, but
right?
he made food up there, and it was awesome. It was really good. I think that was the highlight of most people's day was
Yeah.
the food.
Heck yeah.
It was really good.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've probably talked a bit about this event. I want to talk dogs. Cody, we're going to start with you because you kind of sit quiet. You're in the same boat I was in for a lot of years. People make fun of your dogs because they're the wrong color, right? You like them houndy,
Yeah.
black
well,
and tans.
I tried to help by getting a bunch of different of the breeds, so you can't be really picked on too much, but yet you can make fun of everybody because
Yeah.
you do have one of each.
Right.
But yeah.
And what kind of, you said you prefer cat hunting?
I really enjoy cat hunting, and I really enjoy bear hunting. It's just like anything. By the end of bear season, I'm ready to go cat hunting, and by the end of cat season, I'm ready to go bear hunting.
Right. Do you mess with bobcats much or mainly just lions?
No, mainly bobcats.
You like it better, huh?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's just something about that golden little track and the trickery of them smart things.
Right?
It takes a decent dog to catch a bobcat.
Yeah, it does. I would imagine up here especially. What's the
Yeah.
cat population like?
Our cat population in around our area is not that good, and I think that's probably more so why I do target bobcats, just because we have more. In our area we have more bobcats than lions.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but yeah, I think northern Idaho and eastern Idaho, their cat populations, I know is way better than ours.
Right. The lion population.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know people give snow dogs a lot of grief.
Oh
but-
God, that we need to do a
Yeah.
podcast episode on that. That is like the never-ending argument.
Yeah, but when like what Cody's dogs do, and they're good at what they do. He doesn't hunt in a skiff of snow. It's snowshoeing in 4 foot of snow, and I mean they flat get it on. They
That's
do it,
crazy. So
Yeah.
do you hunt? Because I'm not a snow guy. Like I'm not a snow fan at all. My dogs don't even know how to smell a track in snow. To be real honest with you, when you're up in that kind of snow, is it just like frozen and then back on top, or how are they not post holing through, or are they pushing through that?
Every situation's different. No different than dry ground hunting. It just depends on the weather you're dealt with that day. I mean, some days some mornings you get up there and you just have a light skiff of snow with a nice crust under it, so you stay on top and the dogs can rip the track. But with that being said, they also tear their pads up
Right.
just because of the crust. But then there's other times you go up there at dump 2 feet of snow and you get up there and the dogs are literally plowing with their chest to go catch a cat.
That's insane. But
Yeah.
they probably can't run either, huh? Do the cats run long when you get in that deep stuff?
They tend to resort, depending on your area, they'll try and get into the rocks, so they have that
Trickery.
advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate rocks.
Yep.
That's the worst.
and they know where every rock pile is.
Oh, yeah.
You better believe it. And they know the
Yeah.
back door that comes out 2 miles down the road.
Absolutely.
It seems like you get in those rocky. Well, we were talking about that this morning. You get in those spots, and what are you going to do? It's like you can't count it. Like
Yeah.
I don't. It's like, I don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
I'm dragging them out of holes, so I'm going to say it went in there. But
Yeah.
so it's a lot of rocks out here too, huh?
There can be, in certain areas. Yep.
Yeah.
Especially where you see a lot of bobcats too.
They
like them
always
all.
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, they do. They just
That's.
Yeah.
I know you need somebody just going around plugging up holes. I know we got on one
Expanding
last
foam.
year, and we lost him, and you could see where he went in. and you're up on this bluff and you're kind of looking over, and I look down and like you said, that little golden nugget, I'm looking 30 yards down the hill. I'm like, that's cat track right there. There's another one there. And it's like, yep, he squeezed out right there. What the heck?
Yeah.
But you're so far behind it. It's like, you're not even going to bother trying, let's go find something different. But
yeah.
the cat hunting thing is just I've always thought it would be cool to do, but the time and dedication it takes to do it, it's way different than.
Yeah. And for like me, I know a lot of other guys don't care for a bunch of snow, but I don't like a bunch of snow, but as soon as you have to start jumping on a track machine to go find a cat track, that weeds out like 90% of the other guys because they just want to hunt out of their truck. Well,
right.
When you can't go drive around.
They're like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want easy snow. Easy snow.
Yeah.
So what, you hunt off snowmobiles or you got a side-by-side with tracks?
Snowmobile.
Yeah. You like it better than like a side-by-side?
I've never been in a side-by-side with tracks. I've just always ran a snowmobile.
The side-by-sides are sweet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I borrowed one for that veterans hunt.
Oh, yeah.
And a buddy of mine let me borrow it, which I did not want to borrow because, I can't afford one first off. I can't afford to fix a buddy's. Oh, don't worry. You're not going to get stuck. You're not going to break it. We did both. We lost four-wheel drive. And when you lose four-wheel drive on a tracked vehicle,
Yeah.
that was bad. But, they go everywhere. I couldn't imagine. The snowmobiles, I only did that one time with Buddy, and it was pretty crazy. That seems like it'd be cold and miserable. And you got to like abuse to go do that, I think.
Well, I do run blue tick, so I'm a little slow in that department.
And then how long do you guys have for a bobcat season?
Our bobcat season opens February 14th, or sorry, December 14th and runs till February 16th.
Right on.
So
decent.
Yeah.
Not a lot of dry ground opportunities in that season either here.
No.
There's pretty much always snow, and a lot of it by the time it starts, and by the time it wraps up, we still got a big snowpack. So you're pretty much, if you're going to bobcat hunt around here, you better have something on tracks.
Yeah, or you're going to miss it.
Yeah, you just won't get to go.
How many can you harvest? Is it an over-the-counter tag?
Tags.
Yeah, it's just, so Idaho, you go up, you can kill actually as many as you want to, and then by the end of the season, within 10 days you have to go to Fish and Game and have them each checked in.
Right.
They put a little tag.
That's kind of how we are too.
Yeah.
They put a tag on
Yep.
it.
Right.
Yep.
So Buddy was just telling us in the last podcast, he forgot to check his in. He was a day late getting his done because we got stuck in Michigan.
Oh, no.
But they got him in and got it taken care of. I always feel like an idiot when it comes that time because we don't usually harvest cats. I usually don't hunt cats, but when we do, I always got to set a reminder or something because most of the guys I know that are cat hunters are like, oh, you just do it at the end of season. Well, we run through March 15th because coon season's still in. Bobcat ends the 28th. Fox ends the 28th, but we can still run through March 15th. So I don't even think about it until after season. And then by the end of that, it's like,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Here, even though the season's closed, you're still allowed to pursue them.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
All year round?
Well, during the lion season.
That's pretty
Yep.
sweet.
Yeah. Yep.
That'd be nice. We can run pretty much September 1st through December, February 28th.
Oh,
Is our pursuit, and then take season.
yeah.
And then, coon, coyotes open year round. Do you guys have, speaking of coyotes, there's a ton of coyotes around here, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the deserts.
What about guys running them over here, though? I don't
few
talk
do.
to a ton of guys from here running coyotes, and I would think they'd be all over.
There's a few guys that have greyhounds that do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but not on purpose
No one-
with the hounds around here.
Sure.
Intentionally.
The gamey dogs find them.
Gamey dogs, yes.
Well, I mean, so pretty much all winter you're cat hunting, but you do spring bear hunt too, you said?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the same dogs,
Yep.
not different pack of dogs, same kind of ordeal.
No. For bobcats, which I'm on a snowmobile, so my trailer's only so big that I can pull the dogs with. I only run 3 dogs on bobcats.
Oh, gotcha.
But bear hunting, that's a whole different story.
All of them.
Oh yeah.
How many you hunt?
I personally have 12 hounds that I run, and then my 89-year-old hunting buddy, Kenny Higgs, he has 4 dogs.
Holy cow. So you got a pile.
Everybody's definition of a pile is different. So, yeah.
That's a pretty good pile. I owned 14 at one point.
It sounds good when they're rolling through the canyon.
Oh, you better believe it.
No better sound.
Yeah, no kidding. So how do you decide which ones you're running on cats then? Are you just pulling random ones every time, or you have 3 that are exceptional at both?
Yeah, so the 3 that I normally have my 2 for cat bobcats. I normally have my 2 main, and then whatever pup that I'm seeing the most potential in, I'm running him with it.
That makes sense. And then you said you got pretty much a mixed pack.
Mm-hmm. Red dogs, black dogs, blue dogs.
He's smart.
And I actually run my son's Griffon or pointing bird dog.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, on bears.
Oh, no kidding.
So,
like him?
He goes. He loves it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How old's that dog?
He's just a hair over, year and a half now.
Oh, so he's spent like a season at least running. Does he contribute or is he just going?
I think, which he's too young to know, he's just going right now.
I'll bet he'd be a locating fool though, probably, huh?
Yeah, we've got him on a bunch of birds this year, so we'll see how much that's changed come this bear season.
Yeah, right. See if he stops.
Split races.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be bad if you're on a big mean bear and all of a sudden he's stopping pointing birds. It's cool to hear those oddball dogs though that get thrown into packs.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be like a common thing. Guys were running Feist crosses or Airedales or Airedales were big over here too for a while, huh? Is anybody still running Airedales in this area?
There's only a couple guys that I'm aware of that still run them.
They used to be pretty popular here through this.
There was a few guys that
western Idaho area.
Yeah.
And now it's just all hound dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hound dogs everywhere though. It seems like certain
boxes.
times a year there's a dog box in every truck you see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bears here, from the moment they're born, the more
they're
they
running.
Get harvested, they're getting ran by hounds.
I was going to say, them little guys got Nikes on when they come out of the cave the first go around, I'll bet.
They hear a dog bark. If you see them out on the country, they just start hoofing it. They know. They better start running.
I mean, saying that they do that, do you think that it makes a difference? Dogs like open on track versus quiet dogs? Like, you know, the cat hunters in Oregon will all tell you, oh, quiet dogs on track. Or hog hunters, because those hogs will bust.
Yeah. I like an open mouth dog, probably just for the sound of it, though. You know, really.
So we can enjoy it?
Just so I can enjoy it, and the kids love to hear them. For me, my personal preference is speed. I think if you want to catch lots and lots of bears consistently in different size and class of bears, you're going to need some speed.
You got to do it fast.
You got to do it fast because they get hounded a lot, you know, especially you'll see a bear, you know, get a strike and look up and there's one on the hill. He's running. You know what I mean? He heard the dogs and he knows it's time to go. And they will go for, you know, I'll have 8 to 12 mile races pretty consistently throughout the summer. I mean, they got to have endurance and speed, you know, they got to stick with it if you're going to catch consistently. Yeah.
They get a lot of mean bears over here.
Yeah, I run into, 3 to 5 every year that really want to just tear dogs up. Yeah. And that's all they're worried about.
I would imagine there'd be some tough ones with this many guys running.
Yeah. A lot of people call this area the bear park just because of the amount of the bears, and they think that them bears are easier than what I would consider a general area. But I would definitely say that I couldn't disagree.
Probably
more
harder
because they've been so educated from, like Colton was saying, as soon as he's hitting the ground, he's being educated that dogs are going to be after him. Where you go to the general units.
And they're like, what's going on?
Yeah, they don't have near the pressure that what these other units do.
Oh, I would.
And a lot of it's, they're obviously the bears, but the access. That's why everybody hits them areas, just because of the access.
And until 2 years ago, there was no bait allowed for 30 years. No.
Right, that was a big change.
No bait allowed. So the bears really have spread out. You know, there's no reason to congregate in one spot, other than the fall, you'll get some fruit trees and stuff that'll congregate some bears, but really they're spread out pretty evenly throughout the area. So
that makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, so you guys can run dogs off a bait too, though, over here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That see to me for puppies, that makes the most sense.
yeah.
Those guys in Wisconsin, they do the same thing, rigging off of baits and whatever. I would think that'd be a huge training tool.
Yeah. So before they did the 1 mile over the counter stuff here in the controlled units, I always hunted the general and I would throw out a bait. And for the reason being is number one, the bears in the spring aren't moving around. Number two, you can't get around anywhere to go try and rig a bear. And so, I just have my little area that I've been putting a bait out there for the last umpteen years. So them bears, as soon as
they know to hit it.
as soon as they come out of their den, they're rolling straight to them baits because they want food.
No, it makes sense. And they know when they come out every year, they know there's going to be food there.
Yep.
And last year was my first every year ever being around baits, and it was a learning.
It's a
curve.
lot of work. A lot of people don't realize
it's not
that
easy, is it?
No.
Yeah.
People don't understand. My dad baited when I was a kid, and then we lost all of our dogs and bait in Oregon, but the work that goes into it.
Yeah.
It's not just throw food out there.
No.
And, like you guys, I'm sure still got to struggle with, you got to get them in at the right time.
Yeah.
They got to be runnable. You got to catch them in daylight hours. It's different.
Well, what I noticed, and accidentally running everyone's baits because it was brand new to everyone, and there was baits
Oh, I was going to say
everywhere, as I never had so many split races. We'd turn out on a strike and there would be dogs going every direction, and most of the time they were all after their own bear, and it's like
everybody
quail.
thinks they got their own little private bait, and they're really within a couple hundred yards of each other.
They were stacked in, and all of them, they were all new baiters, right? A lot of new baiters, and they were on the side of the roads and
right there.
Yeah, and so
perfect.
It was kind of a long, painful learning curve for everyone, but
that one bear will take and hit all 12 of them baits.
So you're just running from one to the next, zigzagging.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, and there's a lot of regulations around baiting here, though. I remember, because you got to use certain. Like it's got to be a certain vessel. Everything's got to be cleaned up. You got a tag number, right?
Yep. Tag number. You're allowed 3 tags, so you're allowed 3 baits. They have to be a certain distance from a road.
Sure.
They have to be a certain distance from a creek, a certain distance from a trail. So just not everybody's gonna go
dump them everywhere.
Yeah.
I remembered there was a lot of regulation with that. And at the end of the year, you got to go in and clean it all out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's nothing left behind. Yeah. You guys, can you use barrels or do you have to use natural?
You can use barrels, but they have to be a 50-gallon metal barrel.
Can't use plastic.
No.
Right. I remember that being part of the regs too.
Yeah.
Man. But that's like right up your alley, right, Colton? You're like bear fanatic.
I love to bear hunt, yeah.
You'll cat hunt when you have to.
I don't really like snowmobiles. I've had a lot of bad experiences with snowmobiles and got stranded by them. So I
believe that.
And having little kids, like the wife's a little less lenient with me being gone 2 days.
Or getting stuck out there alone and stranded. Yeah.
So my cat hunting's tapered off dramatically having little ones at home. But
it's different.
Yeah, and we have a side-by-side, and we'll put tracks on it when the kids get a little older and start going again. But as of right now, but the bear hunting for me is the whole family gets to go. We're in our T-shirts most of the time,
right?
And it's we can go, we can rig a bear, we can all walk to the tree. Everyone's enjoying themselves. The kids have a good time, and and that's what that's what I love about it is we all get to go do it together.
That was the hardest part. I'll say when we lost bear hunting in California, it was 2012. So I was still really new. I didn't know what I was doing. I had some dogs, but I was just tagging along. And I had gone down, probably 3 years prior to that. I spent 1 year down there without dogs, just hauling kids around. My buddy's kids would ride with us. And then I got into dogs, and I was able to harvest 2 bears before they shut her down. But the hardest part was leaving camp that last year because all the grandkids, they don't understand why they can't come back. I remember my buddy Tony's grandson. It's like, how do you explain that to a kid? Like, imagine explaining to your kids.
I don't want to. Man.
Tomorrow, I'm sorry, we're done bear hunting. Yeah. Like, that was the worst.
Yeah.
And I was still new, and I don't know, I guess things hit you different. It hit me pretty hard then, but now looking back on it.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that was crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something we want to avoid at all costs, and that's why we do what we do, and that's why we're as active as we are.
Yeah,
we want this to continue to be a wonderful sport that we can enjoy for a long time, and my kids can keep doing it.
Well, you guys are doing an awesome job. I mean, this is going to be a great event. We got stuff to finish setting up, right?
Yep.
Get ready for this. Food's coming in. So I would really encourage everybody, check out, like, mark your calendars. IHA, you said the first weekend in April.
Yeah, April 1st and 2nd is the spring trial, and then the second
Second week in August, right?
August is the water trial. Yep.
And those are big events, so make sure to come out. If you're in the area, support it. Cody?
Just even come to say hi.
Yeah. Just come.
Just to see if you don't want to bring a dog or
Go watch the
interested.
Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
There's plenty of BS to be had at all the events.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's free.
It's free.
That's free.
Yeah, we provide that free.
BS and brewskis.
Yeah.
It's usually to be found at that thing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you taking some time. We'll do a follow-up after this, and hopefully you guys make a bunch of money tonight. I'm going to spend a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks
All
for
right.
having us.
No
Thank you.
sweat.